Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. So, I think we should pretty much pick up where we left off on the last stream, or the second to last stream, which was with the dad joke generator. And let's just keep going, shall we? I mean, that's why you're all here, right? So my grandpa had the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban from this. It cracks me up. Anyway, so no, we're not really here to talk about the dad joke generator, but it is quite funny, I have to admit. What we are here to talk about today instead is, I wasn't going to do this, but I am, and I'll tell you for why. So I'm going to do another, at least tonight, and probably Friday. I've just forgotten to do something. Hold on. Let's put that on. That might make it a bit better. I'm probably tonight, or definitely tonight, and probably Friday, I'm going to continue doing some cake contributions. And the reason that I want to do that is because I've almost got to the end of one of my lists, right? So, as a quick recap, this spreadsheet that I have open here is an audit spreadsheet that is generated by a system called the Cake.Add-in Discoverer that is created by a Cake community member called Jericho. And what it does is that every, or rather twice a day, it will poll NuGet.org. It'll find out all of the Cake add-ins that have been published, and it will audit them, and it'll write some information into an Excel spreadsheet, which is what this is. And what it's attempting to do is it's attempting to track what version of Cake the add-in's compiled against, whether it's some following some best practices in terms of NuGet metadata, and various other things, right? So I'm currently working through a couple of lists. The first list is for any add-in that is currently targeting cake.recipe 1.0.0. Are they following some of the NuGet best practices in terms of the metadata that it contains? So right here, I'm filtering on the fact that there are no license, or rather the license expression or license package file isn't being followed, right? And what I'm attempting to do is I'm attempting to help with getting that information updated, right? So I'm down to 11 out of 280 on this list. And what that means is I've already submitted a PR into Cake.Fastlane to fix these issues. I've done the same for Kudu Client, Microsoft Teams, Travis CI, and Unity. So all of those are basically just waiting for the current maintainer to merge those and push out a new NuGet package. And the last one, I've attempted to, but Cake.VSmetrics is an interesting one. I don't know if any of you've had had a look at it. It's doing some pretty hokey stuff in the CS proj file with regard to using VS Test, or more specifically MS Test, for the unit testing library. And what I don't know and what I haven't dug into yet is whether any or all of that is supported under .NET Core, because ultimately that's what I would like to do as well. Now, I've spoken to Florian, who is the current maintainer of Cake.VSmetrics, and he's told me that the VSmetrics tool isn't really maintained anymore, so he's not really interested in maintaining it. And what I said to Florian was that I'd be happy to do the work of getting it updated, but when I looked at it, it's doing a lot of stuff that I don't know whether it's worthwhile maintaining it or not. And the other part of my mind is that I'm going to meet Florian soon in London, because we're both going to the same conference. So I thought I'd speak to him in person about it and try and get a feel for that one. So what that means is that there are 5 add-ins left in this list. So that's correct, Maurice, yes. So I've got 5 left. And if I can get these 5 out of the way, then essentially this list is done. So I'm quite close. I think within the space of tonight and potentially Friday, this list will be gone. or at least in a position where I'm waiting on the maintainers to merge it in. So from a psychological wait point of view, I've at least done one list. And if I can get that done, then if I unfilter this list and I go over to my other list, which is all of the ones that are not currently pinned to 1.0.0, then this list has 21 things left on it. So this is the next list that I want to target. The changes that are needed for these ones are a little bit more involved. So on a stream where we're kind of interacting a little bit, I will get to them, and whether I do them as part of a stream, that's a what he's just saying, I'll keep my mouth shut so I can work faster. No, not at all. That's not what this is all about. So the changes needed to update these ones are a little bit more involved, especially when you look at some of them, which are, is it this one? This one is on version 16.2 of Cake, which is a lot out of date. So there's some in here that really just need to be gutted, I think. Most of them are in Cake Contrib, so I'll be able to help out and do some of the work on them. But for now, I won't work on the first list, and then I'm going to come back to this one. And then the top one is 017. So that one's an interesting one. So that one is not in Cake Contrib yet, and I know that. No. So all of the ones that are assigned to the radio systems, so I think there's 3 of them. Or 2, no, there is 3 of them. So cake.active directory, cake.csv helper, and cake.ssrs are, or no, it's Talend, sorry. Talend. I say yet. Those Radio Systems is the company that Jamie Phillips used to work for. So really, those add-ins were created while Jamie was there. Now, Jamie has been working with Radio Systems to essentially release those add-ins to the community and get them added into the Cake Contrib organization. So that's happened for, I think, it's either 1 or 2 of their add-ins have been moved over to the Cake Contrib Cake Contrib organization, and Jamie, I believe, is working with them to bring those other ones over as well. So ideally, those ones will get moved into Cake Contrib, and then Jamie is kind of committed to him to working on getting those updated. So those ones I'm kind of leaving. And yes, oh my goodness, I'm just looking at the chat here. So yes, they have gone radio silent. Let's carry on that. And then yes, there must be some radio interference. I love it. I love it a lot. So that's that. And then the other list, the other big list, is if I clear out this again. So like I said, I spend far too long looking at the spreadsheet. If I look at all of the ones that are not on at least the recommended version of, I'm going to say later to that Windows update. So that's my host machine jumping into the stream there again. It's wanting to update to the latest version of Windows 10, and I've just said let's get together later, Windows. iStatic do not. Oh really? Was I cutting out there? Am I standing? Am I okay now? Oh no, I see what you did there, Maurice. Sorry. Maybe I should just go back to the dad generator. I should just go back. If I filter out all the ones that are not on at least the recommended version of Cake, then there are 117. Now, that's less than half. So it's on the right edge of the scale. What I think I'm going to do at that point is then essentially do a mail list. I'm going to track down the maintainers of these and send them a message basically and say, look, are you in a position to update it? Do you need some help? If you need some help, are you willing to move it into the Cake Contrib organization so that other people can help out? So I'm effectively going to send out 117 emails to the maintainers of these to see what the score is, and hopefully I'll get a response back, and that response is yep, sure, no problem. We'll move it into the Kate Contrib organization, and then other people can help out. Or at the very least, an acknowledgement that it is behind and they're working on it. So that's kind of where I want to get to. And yeah, whether I get there, I don't know. But I expect I'm going to go through this list and see what happens. Now, the way I'm going to do that, and I should show you this as well. Well, if I can find the URL. If I go to this website, email address .github.io, then there's a really useful website by community maintainer Jeffrey Huntley. And this website does exactly what it says on the tin. It says find almost any GitHub user's email address just by typing in their username. Okay? Oh, Morse code, really? I don't know Morse code. I'm not even going to try. So this is a really useful website. And it's really useful because normally what I would do is I would be going to a repository. I would be going to kate.gem. I would be finding a commit. And then by putting .patch at the end, then I can see an email address associated with the patch, right? But by going to email address.github.io instead and just typing in the username, then it's a lot quicker. Now, I would put my username in here, but the way that this website works is it will also pull back. I don't actually know where the data is coming from, but it'll also pull back other people that you've interacted with on GitHub. So it's not 100% accurate. It will pull back other people's email addresses that you have interacted with on GitHub. Now, where it gets that information, I'm not sure. Right, so that's why I'm not putting it up here, because when I do my account, then there are several email addresses in there for other people. Okay, so I've got if you're okay for me to do that, I'm going to put in Surly Dev in here, and I'm going to say find emails, and there's a lot of email addresses associated with that account, but the thing that you have to do with this website is you basically have to look at them and try and figure out which one makes the most sense in terms of it interacting with. The other one, Grove, I can't type that out. Grov Saurus. Did I spell that right? Grove or Sor. I think it did. Sometimes it's not infallible. So that's maybe what it is then. So there's some relationship between the username that you put in and some way of interacting with people. I don't understand the dynamics of how it works. That would be a question for Jeffrey to answer. But it's an incredibly useful tool, and that's what I'm basically going to do. I'm going to go through this list of 117, and I'm going to put it into that website, and I'm going to pick the most relevant email address, and I'm going to send them an email saying, what do you want to do? And see what that comes back with. So yeah, that's the plan. So back to it. So I've got 5 left. The ones that are of interest today were the ones that are pinned to Cake Recipe. So let's go to 100, and the ones that are not currently. What did I break? I don't think I cleared it properly. Let's try that again. Ones that are pinned to there, better, and then ones that are got a blank license in them, which is that one. Okay, so the ones that I'm interested in today are SQL Package and Homebrew. So those are 2 of Rodney's ones, and I'm going to send a PR to Rodney's to try and get them updated. So I have pre-cloned all the repositories, so you don't have to sit and watch me trying to do that. What was it? I had to use a I see. Typo. Oh. I'm just catching up with the Morse code that was being sent out there. Mine only shows, and Maurice is saying, so yeah, it's not, like I say, it's not infallible. It doesn't always come back with a valid email address, but that's where I would then revert to going to the commit and trying to find the patch, or putting .patch at the end of the URL to see if I can dig it out that way. And failing that, there are other mechanisms, which is to contact the maintainer via NuGet.org using the contact maintainer link on there. So that, basically what I'm saying is that there's ways to seek out and communicate with maintainers, and I will attempt to do that for all the ones that still need to be updated. But for now, I have 5 that I can work on. So the one I'm going to pick to start with is the cake.sql package one. So following along from where I was last time, so one of the first things I do is just check to make sure that the most recent cake.bootstrappers are being used. So I'm just going to use the various commands that exist in Visual Studio Code to get that done. So I've downloaded the latest bootstrappers for PowerShell, and so that number of differences tells me that it was not using the most recent version. So that's the case for both that and that. So that's good. And then Rodney is using recipe.cake, so we will need to go in and change this to be recipe because it's not named build.cake. And we do the same for here. So that I can do some commits against a known... There's a question in the chat room that I'm going to have a look at just now, but let's just bring this up. Do any of you fine folks know how to pull a project from GitHub and get all the branches that are in GitHub so that I can close and delete them? So in terms of seeing them, so if you do git branch will show you all the branches that you have locally, but if you do a git branch -a, then it will list all of the branches that are available on the remotes that you have available. And then to delete a remote branch, yeah, you can do that. I never remember the syntax though. So git delete remote branch. You can do it. It's not just -- delete and push at the same time. Whoa, 17 ways. No thanks. Deleting a local branch, deleting a remote. Yeah, git push origin delete -- delete and then the name. So you could use a bit of scripting to use the output of git remote -a, or as Kim is suggestion, git branch remote, and then enumerate through those and then push them to that command to delete them. Would be one way of doing it. And then git push origin branch name works too. So the -- delete is not needed. To delete a remote branch, we do not use the git branch command, but instead git push blah blah blah. So it definitely can be done. And this is a Git Tower website, and it's obviously advertising the fact that you can do it within Git Tower as well. So Git Tower is a Git client that runs on, I think, everything. It's one of the better and well-known ones that's out there. So that's something else to look at. Okay, so I was going to create an issue for this. So I'm going to call this issue general project repository update. I'm going to I'll not assign a milestone and things. I'll leave that to Rodney to do that. So I've got a number now. So this is 21. So let's do a git checkout minus B. He's following git flow, so that's kind of it's not really a feature branch, but let's go with it. Okay, and then into code, I've then got here, which is going to be gh-21 update to latest cake bootstrappers, and then I should probably just do that. And then let's just see if that works. Hasn't broken anything. Because this project was already pinned to cake.recipe 1.0. It was already pinned to the recommended version of cake, which is 32.1. So those two things are both done. And Kim saying, I even think you can push a branch and remove an existing branch at the same time, but assume you can with git origin push or git push origin. Git push origin. Oh, I don't know what that would do. I don't know, Kim. I've never tried it. I've never tried that one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybes. Yeah, no, I see what you're doing, but I've never tried it. Never tried it. Worth trying. But doesn't seem to do anything. Just try and git push origin branch name. So if you do, well, is it actually on your origin or is it on an upstream? If you do a git branch minus A, does it list it as coming from your origin, or is it from another remote that you've got configured on your repository? So if I let this finish, I'll run that command again. So if I do git branch minus A, then see how these ones are coming from upstream. Remote origin. So you're doing so you have got them both in the origin and the upstream. So you're doing a so do you have writes? Well, I'd expect it to fail if it's not there. So you're doing git push origin : B&B / add Brian. You'll need to include the B&B / part of it as well. That's the only thing I can think. So that was updating that. Other thing I wanted to do in here was to update with the CI/CD. Let's just do these things while I remember. So I'm going to overwrite this, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to say // save that. gh-21 add standard appver config file. Should I do it in my fork? Should remove the origin branch, you would need another for the removing upstream. Yes, what Kim said. So if you have writes, Surly Dev, to both the origin and the upstream, then you should be able to do it to both of them. That command should work to both of them. So I'm going to do CI/CD here, and I'm going to do add editor config file. And this is going to be gh-21 add editor config file. And then we don't yet have a git attributes file, so let's pull that into CI/CD. Git attributes. We'll say gh-21 add Git attributes file. So that's a good idea by Maurice there in the chat room as well, with regard to using some of the Probot tools for keeping some of these things in sync. I haven't played enough with those to add anything to that. I know that there are some great ones out there. Kim has showed me a couple of really good ones, like ImageBot. I use that all the time now. So Probot is definitely a way of keeping things in sync. So where was I? So that was updating those. Now it's the new spec that I'm really interested in updating. So the first thing that was picked up by Cake.add-in Discoverer was that Rodney has the repository URL, but it's missing the .git at the end. And as per a conversation that I had with Anand from the NuGet team, the recommendation is to include that .git at the end. And the other one is the license expression. So if I go over to this one, then we'll find the license expression here is what I'm going to use. Now I'm going to do a sanity check to make sure that it's an MIT license, which it is. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to paste this in. So that's adding the license expression. Now, interesting. Okay, so hold on. Why? Why would you do that, Kim? Why would you replace... Talk me through why you would do that. I'm genuinely interested to find out, because... Just because you don't have to give permissions away to that third-party service? I'm genuinely curious as to what you come back with that. And have you been added to the GitHub Actions beta? Not really. Love it. Are you part of the GitHub Actions beta? Have you played with it much? A part of me does like the idea of doing it that way. Definitely the CI/CD stuff. I mean, as part of the Cake build of Cake, we will likely add in a CI/CD pipeline as well, so that we can show how you would do that with Cake. Nice. Because one of the other many things I do when I have spare time, I love spare time. If you've seen this, I help maintain this list with Sarah. So if we go over to the Awesome Actions repository that's on Sarah's GitHub profile. So I help maintain this list, which is a list of awesome actions for GitHub. So it walks through all the various things that you can currently do with GitHub Actions. And it's the whole idea with an awesome list is that it is in a very simple to filter list. So you can literally just go in here and find out what you wanted to do. So if you're interested in doing pull requests or something with pull requests, then these are all the add-ins, actions rather, that do something with pull requests in GitHub. If you are more specifically interested in doing things with, say, images, then that's a bad example. I was hoping for ImageBot, but it's not there yet. So yeah, you can submit pull requests into here to update this list with any actions that you come across that you think are useful to people. So go ahead and check that out, and let me know if you've got any you want added to the list. So if you wanted to run Cake tasks as an example, then we do have an action for Cake that will rudimentary. It doesn't do very much at the minute. I mean, the whole point of this thing was that it would essentially just use the official Cake Docker image and just run the script. So it's very, very basic. It's available now. It's interesting. Is that? I don't know if that's on our list though. I've not heard of that one being available on the list. stale. Okay, so that's something you could add in stalebot into GitHub Actions. Anyway, so that's a slight aside, but yeah, that's on like I say, that's on Sarah's profile. She was the original creator of that, and I've been helping out to keep that one updated. So, license expression did that. So this is a gh-21 update NuGet metadata, and then I think the only other thing that I wanted to add into this one was CI CD of GitHub files. So I was going to do add SQL package, and then the things I need to fix after this, because I still haven't fixed it. I'm going to rename this to be code of conduct, and in the contributing, I need to search for master, because this is a Git flow repository. So I'm going to put develop in there. I'm going to put develop in there directly on the where's my there develop or master branch, and then there's one more at the bottom here, which is develop. Okay, save that, and then this is going to be gh-21 add GitHub template files. Still no security MD. No, still no security MD. So that brings up an interesting point of conversation. So I had a conversation with Rodney regarding this, and his take on it was that I should just create a .github repository here and throw everything into there, so it will just cascade down automatically to all the repositories in here. I think at the minute I'm not convinced in doing that, because I think that's a step too far in terms of I would need to get the buy-in of 77 people before I did that. I don't think I want to do that. So it means at the minute just pushing in the template files that I've got in there just now. Now, should that include security.md? Probably. But I haven't done that one yet. I deleted the branches from upstream and origin, and they're all gone on GitHub. Success. I agree with that, and having a common email someone can use which will redirect the email to the correct add-in author, not an easy task though. Absolutely. So I don't think I'm quite there yet in terms of doing it for every repository in the organization. So it does mean slight duplication of effort in putting at least these template files in there. Security.md, that's going to be a more interesting challenge. Question: when someone has their own file, will that file be used? I believe so, yes. I believe so. And my understanding is that the only way to not use them, was it you that told me this, Kim? They would have to put an empty file in their repository to override what comes down from the higher up organization level. Was it you who told me that, Kim? Or was that someone else? I can't remember. I think it was. So I'm not at the point I want to have that fight's the wrong word for it. I'm not at the point where I want to have that conversation yet, but maybe one day, but not today. So that's that. So let's have a quick sanity check of other things that I've done for similar things like this. So that was MS Deploy. So this one. So latest bootstrappers up to recipe to cake. Oh, should run check that one, whether it's running Git version or not. Recipe.cake, and I'm going to say should run Git version is true. Perfect. Always run Git version, update metadata, appware, templates. Okay, cool. So I think that's that. So if I do a git push origin here, that's going to blow up. because I haven't set the upstream or the tracking branch. So if I do that, that will push it to my... So hold on. I think there is a typo, but if it's the one I think that you're thinking of, it's meant to be there, because it says, we are infallible, and as such the documentation needs no correction. In the highly unlikely event that that is not the case, commits to update the documentation are highly appreciated. It's meant to be there. So it is a typo, but it's not a typo. It's deliberate. Because I had the exact same thing on my last stream, which was I went to fix it, and I was like, oh no, hold on, it's meant to be there. So I think we're good. And if it's not, then I've added it to, I think, 20 or so repositories. Yeah, so that's a typo, that's a typo, and that's a typo. But it's all under this joking section that says, if we've made a mistake, please fix it. But don't fix it here, because I borrowed this contributing.md from someone else. If it doesn't come across as a joke, then maybe I should change it. But I suspect that that's what it's intended to be. Perfect. Right, so that was sent up to... It would fail when running Markdown lint. And that's actually what's... I mean, it's... there's a lot of stuff that would fail Markdown lint here. But that's what all these orange ones are. But that's a topic for a different day as well. SQL package, that should now have an open PR. So I'm going to compare and pull request, and I'm going to request Rodney as a reviewer, and I'm going to say general repository project updates, mainly for adding NuGet metadata to, or mainly for adding recommended NuGet metadata to NuSpec file, but also a few other updates as well. Let me know if you have any questions. And then a bunch of stuff. Create pull request. Boom. Okay, so that's... I'm literally going to tick that off my list, because I've got a list here. SQL package. Beautiful. Okay. So the other one that I was going to do was another one of Rodney's, because... well, why not? So he has got a cake.homebrew package, and recommended changes from... Ooh, that's already been merged, so why is that still open? Blah, blah, blah. This is fixed by... I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that one's already been done, because if I go to... if I go up to cake.homebrew and have a look at that. Oh, I'm in the wrong branch. Good, check out, develop. I typed the letters, but it's catching up. Oh, it's dev. It was close. Get check out, dev. If I go and have a look in here, then I am fairly sure that it's already been updated to that package reference 34. So that one's been done. That one's been done, and it should target Net Standard 2.0. Yeah, all of these things are being done. I'm going to make a comment here. Looks like this issue has been completed. Going to close it off. Beautiful. Okay. So what else was in here? These were adding of aliases. So that's perfectly fine. And I'm going to add another one, which is general repository and project updates. I'm going to submit a new issue. That gives me 17, so I'm going to do git checkout feature gh17 from dev. Oh, I forgot my minus b. Git checkout. Oh, did you see that there's some new stuff in Git? Did you see that, Kim? There's some new commands in Git. I don't think I'm on the latest Git on this machine, but there's a new Git commands. New Git commands for checkout. Because Git checkout is overloaded. Oh, where I tweeted it. That's the one. That's what Marie said. They've changed Git checkout into two separate commands. What version of? I'm probably on an older version of Git here. Choco upgrade Git. Is it 2.3.1? I'm on an older version there. Oh yeah. I'm only one out of date. I think there is some new commands available. Let's install the latest version of Git while we're here. Because what they were saying is, if you say to someone, go and switch to a branch, it's git checkout. And then if you say to someone, well, create a new branch, well, it's git checkout minus b. And then if you want to reset a file, it's git checkout file. Because of those overloaded terms, they split it out into two separate commands. And there was a blog post about it, but I can't see the blog post. Git checkout command. Split into new commands. Somebody found it. Commands. Git switch. It could be. I'm sure I tweeted it. Did I not tweet it recently? Twitter.com git13. There's my children. Actually, let's do it this way. Twitter advanced search. I go here all the time. This one. So I'm going to say from these accounts, all of these words get latest. Maybe it doesn't do retweets. Oh, that's just annoying. Is it finished upgrade? So if we do git minus h. Git switch. Usage, git switch. Maybe? Could be. Git switch. Git branch, git checkout. Oh, it's going to annoy me. There's a blog post about it recently. Tweets and replies. Oh, come on. I don't want to sign in. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it is there. Here we go. Found it. I found it. I'm not going to be able to bring it over here, though, am I? Arrgh. Let's bring it up. GitHub.blog. Is that someone else? Oh, for goodness. Maurice. That's the one I just found. Oh, experimental? Is that what it says? Yeah, that is the one. So in here, the commit, the tweet that I retweeted was, Git checkout has too many responsibilities. It's used for both switching branches, for restoring individual files to previous state. So in Git 2.23, it's being split into two distinct commands, git switch and git restore. So git switch, the simplest invocation of git switch looks like this, i.e. git switch to a branch, and then in this mode you can switch as acting as the optionalist invocation of git checkout. If you want to replace git checkout minus branch for short, you can write git switch minus C. Oh my goodness. So I think I'm right in saying that it's fully backwards compatible. So if you, like me, are doing git checkout minus B and various other things, they should continue to work. But then people who are coming to Git new, they might start using git switch and git restore, because those are the commands that they've landed into using. So yeah, so there's new stuff in Git. So Git 2.2.3, which was a couple of weeks ago. So what version? Was that the version I installed? It was. Okay. Yeah. And then it'll all change. Anyway, so we're in Homebrew. We've got a feature branch. And let's do the same sort of thing for this one. So let's update the bootstrappers. So install a bootstrapper. Sure. And then install a bootstrapper. Sure. And then in here, I'm going to change this to be recipe.cake. And then this is going to be recipe.cake as well. And my assumption is that those needed to be updated. Yeah, those were a good bit out. So we said it was 17. Update to latest cake. Too many deletes. Bootstrappers. Okay. So that was that one. And then a quick sanity check. It is pinned to 1.0. It's not running Git version. So let's do should run Git version is going to be true. So we're going to say GH17 always run Git version. The reason I need to do that is because when I'm on my Mac, Git version in cake.recipe isn't set up to run on anything but Windows by default. So forcing that flag to be true makes it work on the Mac. This is one of the breaking changes that I want to put into cake.recipe next version, is sort of some of these defaults to be switched. So that's one of them that's definitely going in. So that was that. It's pinned to there. It's fixed that one. Let's have a look at that var file. Yeah, I would suggest we change that. So CI CD brings in an appvar file, overwrite it, and then we're going to go down here and fix the regex that I should just go back into the repository and change. We might do that next. Someone remind me to fix this in the other file so I don't have to keep doing it. Oh, what's this? Let's have a look at what Surly Dev's up to. Awesome developer streams. There are some dead branches that could be removed, such as blah blah blah. I'm not really concerned with dead branches. Up. Beautiful. Clean them up for you. The command was git push upstream, all branch name. Yes, the colon was required thanks to. Beautiful. Let's do some emoticons there. The rocket. Why not? So what's this? Awesome developer streams. BNB. Let's have a look. Oh, look at this. That's a big list. You can also specify. There you go. Oh, look at that. Oh, my name's there. Love it. That's a big list, though. That is a big list. That's actually genuinely bigger than I thought it was going to be. Kent Dodds. There you go. Lots of people on the list. I should go up here and I should do this. Oh, go down all the way at the bottom. Should I go all the way at the bottom? Oh, go down to my entry. Hold on. Where was that? Gary. Oh, I took Control F. Thought I did. What streams? Streams on Twitch, Twitter, GitHub. Look at that. He's alright. Gap13. GitHub. Look at that. Sweet. Streaming on. You know what would be cool? You know what would be cool here? I don't know if you're in charge of this report or not. A little icon that said whether they were live or not. I don't know if that's possible. Like a badge that said they're currently live. That would be pretty cool. I don't think I have. Normally when I see something I like, I start it, and I've only just started it just now. So I don't think I have. Let's do a wee search in here. I don't think it was me that changed it. So was it me? Hold on. Oh, it was Matthias. It was Matthias that put me in. Look at that. Oh, I did know about it. Hold on. Oh, because I got mentioned. I did know about it, but I didn't start it. So no, that's pretty cool. I like this. So I'm assuming the likes of Jeff Fritz and things are on here because that's where I started. I started watching Jeff Fritz and Suze Hinton. That's kind of where I started watching streams and kind of got into it from there. So I'm assuming Suze is going to be on here as well. Yeah, she is. But there, this is cool. Hi, Rodney. I'm not talking about you, I promise. I'm not. I wasn't. So I'm working my way through my list, Rodney, and there was 2 of yours on the list. So I've done cake.sql package, and I'm just away to work on the cake.homebrew one. So while you're here, I had a question about. Oh no, I don't have a question. Or do I have a question? I do have a question. Why is that showing as not being transferred when it is there? So you air my no, not at all. No, that's not at all. I can. Will it help the stream for me to merge? That would be great if you could. I mean, feel free. What I was going I think there's a slight bug in the report because it's telling me that cake.fastlane isn't transferred to the cake contrib repo organization, but it is, and SQL packages as well, and Travis CI is too, and Homebrew is as well. So Why is it telling me that they're not transferred when they are? Yeah, we did. We did. And Jericho won't be on. No, it was freshly downloaded today. So I'm very curious as to why that's not showing up. I know there's some logic that he goes through. Ooh, no, can't be that. Might be that. Cake.fastlane. Cake.fastlane. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'll have to talk to Jericho about that. Because that should be showing up as in the organization, but it's not. So, Jericho actually was on the show on Friday. He jumped in for the second half of the show. The show? That's the wrong word. The stream. He was on for the second half of the stream, and he answered a few of the questions that we had. So I know he watches the streams back when he knows it's about Cake.and Discoverer, which this one is. No, that's so, Maurice, that's what I was referring to there. So he does some sanity checks with regard to could be so the way I think it works, let's talk through this. So if I go to NuGet.org and I search for Cake.fastlane, which is here, then he looks at the project site URL, which at the minute goes to Rodney Little's. Even though that's redirected by a 301 redirect from GitHub to CakeContrib, I don't think that will be accurately reflected in the report until that metadata is updated. Now, that's one of the things that I put into the pull request, was to update that. So as a sanity check, let's just look at the changes here and see if there was some new spec updates. CS Proj updates. CS Proj updates. Package source URL. Yes. Package project URL was updated to CakeContrib. So that should flow through in the next report once the package is pushed to NuGet. So yes, it will take a NuGet.push of the package for that to flow through. Yes. So okay, so I think I've set that in my head correct. And Maurice is saying watching the stream is also a show. Okay, I guess so. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so we were here. I just done this one, which was to G817. And to be clear, Rodney, I have, after your 2 repositories, I have 3 other ones that are not yours that I'm hoping to also create pull requests for. Maybe not all tonight, but certainly I have 3 other people on my list. So it's not just you. Add standard appver config file. Boom. So that's that. And the thing that we're actually changing, as per the report for Homebrew, is again the repository URL in this case. So if we look at the CSproj file, which is here, then it has a repository URL which does include .git at the end. I've just realized I've probably broken the other one. Hold on. Might have broken it. Oh, I didn't break SQL package. I thought SQL package would have broken. Let me just check something. CD into cake.sql package and open up a new code editor. I try not to. I'm not going to say I don't ever break things, because I do. That's how we all learn, right? You learn by breaking things. That's my excuse, and I stick to it. Oh, no. It should have broken. But... Oh, you see. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's have a wee look at what this one is doing. Okay. So, Rodney, question while you're on the stream. Do you prefer... Do you prefer all of your NuGet metadata to come from the CSproj file or from the NuSpec file? So the reason I thought it was going to break is because I added in this license expression to the NuSpec file. So cake.recipe by default will look to see if there is a NuSpec file, and if there is, it will run NuGet pack to take the contents of that NuSpec file and generate an upkeg from it. But in the brave new world of the new CSproj format using the .NET Core CLI, you can do everything that you could do in the NuSpec file from the CSproj file. But by default, cake.recipe doesn't run .NET pack. So even though you put things like the repository URL, the license URL, and various other things into the CSproj file, cake.recipe will take the stuff from the NuSpec file. So it looks like you're moving towards putting stuff in the CSproj file, which is absolutely fine, but cake.recipe will not do anything with it by default. Now, you can make it do that. So if you were to go to the recipe.cake file and put in here, should run .NET Core pack true, then that will generate it using .NET pack command, and then use the entries that are in the CSproj file. So you can definitely delete that NuSpec file if you want to, and just use what's in the CSproj file. Would you prefer that? So the only reason that I continue to use the NuSpec file is when I'm cross-compiling. So I haven't found a way, I'm sure there is a way, but I haven't found a clean way of, from the CSproj file, knowing how to pack all the things I want to pack into it. Because typically I want to include the generated XML file, various other things, and I want to control kind of where they go into the lib folders. I haven't found a way to do everything that I want to do there. So that's why I continue to use it in the NuSpec file. Now, if you are not cross-compiling, although you are, you might not be able to do that. But if you only had .NET Standard as your one target, then you could remove the NuSpec file completely. So I think, given that we've still got two targets there, I think we should leave the NuSpec file in place and not do this one just now. But in the next version, where you only target .NET Standard 2, then we should probably get rid of this NuSpec file and leave cake.recipe to do the packing as part of the build. And I think going forward, .NET, and absolutely, yeah, I think that's the way to think about it. Cool. Okay, so we're on the same page then. So I'll leave that there. And the reason it didn't break is because currently your license URL is in the CSproj file, and I added in the license expression into the NuSpec file. So I think we should be good because it's not using the values from here. So I think that should be good. And the icon URL in here was the same. Okay, so we're fine. So I think we're good there. So that's why the CI build was happy. And it created the created NuGet package from that new spec file. Okay, cool. So going back to where I was, and the reason that came up in my head is because the Homebrew one doesn't have a new spec file. Everything's coming from the CSproj file, and again, that's perfectly fine. But what we need to do here is we need to remove the package license URL, and we are going to switch to Kim's Transifex library so I can steal the right incantation from here, because I know that he's got it. So the license expression by default is going to be that. A sanity check to make sure that it's a MIT license, which is. So I'm going to put the license expression in there. Okay, that makes perfect sense as well, Rodney. Yeah. And yes, it is. It's only targeting NetStandard 2, so that's absolutely perfect. So I'm going to add in that license expression. The repository URL is there and it's using .git. And the only other thing I tend to add, even though as Kim pointed out in the last stream, it's not technically needed because the default is Git. I tend to add in the repository type as well, being a little bit more explicit. So, okay, I'm going to go to warp instead. So warp, which is one of Kim's other add-ins. So, oh, it's got emoticons and everything. Look at that. So source warp CSproj. Gotcha, makes sense. So in here, repository type is Git, repository URL, and then the license expression. And interestingly, Kim, I noticed that if we clear this spreadsheet and look here, if we look here for things like this one, then these ones are all using the license file attribute. So cake.addInDiscoverer, we spoke about this in last stream before, where we were asked the question of whether it was only working on license expressions, but it also works on license package files that are in the nutkeg and then referencing them directly as well. So there's at least 7 add-ins that are using files from the repository as part of their licensing structure as well. So there's a couple of examples there of doing that. So that's good to know. So let's flip back to 1.0 and the license again. So I'm going to do that just so we've got that list, and then we're doing Homebrew. So we added in the type, the URL, and the license expression, so that's good. And then we're going to do GH17 update NuGet metadata. Okay. And then other things I want to do while I'm here is CI/CD has a Git attributes. We don't have an editor config, so I'm going to add that. So that's going to be GH17 add editor conf. Oh my goodness. It's so hard to type when talking. I can't tell you. CI/CD. I'm going to add in the template files. Now I know, as we spoke about, this is a topic of debate and whether it should be done at a higher level or not. Now, for right now, I'm still putting them in manually, which is a little bit of work, but I need to voice it across more maintainers to see whether that makes sense or not. I don't disagree with you at all. I don't disagree with you at all there, Rodney. It's kind of why I created the CI/CD assets thing that I have for just downloading the files on the fly, so at least I don't have to think about it too much. But it's still not ideal. I just want to go. Maybe one day. I don't think today is the day. Maybe tomorrow. And GitHub template. Seriously, template files. Okay, so we did that. Let's have a quick sanity check of commits from the previous one. So we update the latest bootstrappers. We were already pinned to, or we were already using recipe.cake because I unashamedly stole that from Rodney in the first place. So we were already doing that. It was already pinned to 1.0. We added in should git version. We updated the metadata. We added some template files. So that should be good to go. So let's do a sanity check to make sure that we haven't broken anything by building. That's the wrong repository now. So cake.homebrew. And let's do a sanity check here to make sure it still builds. And if that still builds, I will push that and create another PR. So that would be 2 of the 5 off my list. So looking forward to fixing this. The best overload for set parameters. Oh, I had a typo. My bad. Should run git version. Let's try that. That's why you run the build. That's why you run the build. What I was saying was I'm so looking forward to getting rid of all this yellow text from the top of cake.recipe. Seriously? Oh, hold on. Tools. Oh, look at that. That's why. We'll have to fix that too. So cake.recipe in 1.0 will only run with cake 32.1. There are reasons for that. Not very good reasons, but there are reasons for that. So we need to pin to 32.1 of cake.recipe for it to run at all. And if this builds, then we will push them up and submit a new pull request. What is... I just saw a tweet on Twitter to me. I'll fix it later. I'll try and... I won't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Let's have a look. Build. Perfect. Okay. So as a... What did we do there? We said GH17 pin to 0.32.1 of cake. So that was this one. This is the recommended version to use when pinning to cake.recipe 1.0.0. Pushy. Indeed. And then recipe.cake, we fixed a typo. Should probably squash that. Should we squash it? I should probably squash it. I'm going to squash it. Rebase me. Get rebase -I on dev because I'll fix it anyway. I'm going to pick that one up and I'm going to put that into here. I'm going to say save that. And then do that again. And then F. Is it F? Yep. Save. Rebase. Oh, Kim, look at you. Look at you go. I'll do that in a sec. Git push origin. That's going to complain because I haven't got a tracking branch. I'm going to put that up there. And then I'm going to go to here. No, not Fastlane. We did Fastlane. This one. And we're going to go here. We're going to say compare and pull request. And we're going to request a review from Rodney. And we're going to say general project repository updates. And we're going to say, I didn't do this on the last one, resolves 17. Create pull request. And then copy. Let's see what Maurice, what Kim has done here. Oh, hold on. You've been doing a few things. What have you been doing? Code of conduct. Code of conduct. Meta link. Okay. Getting started. Oh, he's fixed the headings. Oh man. Definitely gonna have to update these now. What have you done there? Made it text. White space. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Oh, you haven't fixed the thing that I was... Or have you? That's... So, hold on. Let's stop. Let me review this one first. That looks good to me. And let's go ahead and get that merged. So can you fix, while you're there, Kim, since you've got it open, can you fix the regex in the apphere.yaml file as well? I'm going to say add mighty worm, and then we're going to say PRT, boom, 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 whoop, boom. The reason you can't change the name of the file, Maurice, is because, yeah, as Kim pointed out, currently the VS Code add-in looks for the name of a specific file to download. So when I'm in VS Code, when I hit CI/CD, when I run that command there, it runs and downloads a specifically named file into the workspace folder that I've created. So in addition to doing PR here, Kim would also need to do a PR to CI/CD VS Code, and then in here, if we searched for code of conduct, then in here, this package.json file would need to be updated to include the new URL in order for it to work, and then that would need to push out a new version of the VS Code extension. Yeah, the VS Code extension to download and push that out. So not impossible, but just not an immediate fix, whereas the change that we've just made is a change to the content of the file without changing the file. So that will work. And the PR that Kim's away to put in is a similar one for the apphere.yaml file. So to fix the regex here. So that's why. Completely not against anyone jumping in and fixing that though. Happy to take that and push it out. More than happy to get that done. One other thing to take off my list, so feel free. So I'm going to close those out. So the next one was, let's do that one because it's in Kate Contrib as well. So if we go back to here and CD up out of this and look at kate.net EF core, and then, but while I'm thinking about that, I think Rodney was busy doing stuff. So, oh, stuff's happening on Twitter. Oh no, that was just me. So, break on older versions. You'll probably need to have... That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Oh, I wonder. No, probably wouldn't work. What was going through my head there, Maurice, was that I know GitHub maintain a set of 301 redirects for when you rename a repository. I don't think they do the same for renaming of a file. So yes, in order to support older versions of the extension, we would need to keep the old file around for a period of time. Yes. Which is unfortunate, but that's completely my fault for not reading the instructions, for not reading the manual. Okay, so we did pull requests for cake.sql package and cake.homebrew. So the next one we're going to do is cake.net core EF. So make sure we're on the right branch, which we're not. Git checkout develop. And let's go into code. And then if we go back to here and we look at cake.net core EF. Let's see what issues are open. Blah, blah, blah. Let's have a new issue, which is general repository and project update. Seriously. Oh, I should point out this one as well. This was a lot of fun. And by a lot of fun, I mean more of a headache than it was meant to be. If we go over here and look at this add-in. I updated this add-in on Sunday. Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. So I updated this add-in. This add-in was using a library called HTTP mock for stubbing out. As part of the unit test that it was running, it was stubbing out an HTTP server for throwing some requests at it and verifying that those requests were being sat. So it was mocking out the response basically to test out the code. Now, I was trying to update cake.proget to use not .NET Standard only. Now, this library doesn't use or doesn't work on .NET Standard, so I had to find an alternative. So I went in and I found another library. I forget the name of it now. Or it's in tests. I'm like, why? I'm like, where is it? It's not there, but it's in the test project, obviously. It's another library called wiremock.net. So that was wiremock.net. Now, it is essentially the same thing, but it does work on .NET Standard 2.0. So it was a case of going through all the unit tests, changing from HTTP mock to using wiremock, and then making up the same request and response, which was fun, and then getting all to work. And what you're saying there is... so there's a bit of catch up there. So I forgot cake.homebrew is running on Travis. I think I did notice that as well. I take it failed. Rodney, did it fail? And if so, why did it fail? Dang it. Pull requests. Why did it fail? Let's have a look. Travis. Let's have a look. I mean, have I not created one? Have I not created one for Homebrew? That's really bad of me if I haven't. Oh, so there is an AppVeyor build for it. So it is running. So it... Why is it not running a PR? Why is it not running cake.homebrew? Why is that not appearing as a cake contrib, cake.homebrew? Yeah, I wasn't. Thanks for that, Maurice. I wasn't gonna do that. That's interesting. Okay, so that's for a different day. See if it's unhandled, missing message exception, app context.set switch not found. No idea. Not a Scoobies. Historically, I've seen issues with running NuGet on Travis as well. So, and as for moving to Azure DevOps, absolutely. Pascal is the person to talk to regarding that one. Rodney, he holds the keys for setting up the K-Contrib projects on Azure DevOps. Now, the only slight caveat to that is that since you're using cake.recipe currently in its current form, you can't do the deployments from Azure DevOps. In the next version of cake.recipe, we will be switching to a more of a build server agnostic deployment setup. So whether you're running on Azure DevOps, whether you're running on wherever, it should work. You should definitely talk to Pascal. Yes, if you talk to Pascal on the K-Contrib Slack, he can get those projects set up for you in there. So in the same way that I have a utility tool for syncing permissions to AppVeyor, he has one for syncing permissions to Azure DevOps. But like I say, the caveat being that you can't actually do the final push. You'd still need the AppVeyor build to do that part. Check the mono version. Could be a mismatch with the mono version use and the NuGet version. Could well be. Mono version is being output. That is version 4. That's I want to say that's an older version, right? Yeah, I thought it was up to 5 as well. So definitely something to potentially try. That's in the. I'm going to assume that's in the YAML file for Travis. Is that right? So travis.yaml. Yeah, it's there. Look. Anyway, so Travis Homebrew failed for reasons. I'm curious as to why it's not. I am curious as to why that's not happening. I mean, we're going to have to look at that a little bit. Is that not a setting under integrations and services? You see, it's not there. I would have expected that to be in there. I'm going to look at another screen that has more stuff in it. K-Contrib, K.gem. It's the one that I always use. Sign in. Oh, my phone. Authentication code. Authenticator. Should really have a YubiKey. Settings. Integrations and services. It's not there. Webhooks. Yeah, it doesn't have a. Don't think I'm going to give the game away, or am I? Hold on. Maybe it won't. Or maybe it won't open that one on stream. Let's go over here and look at Homebrew, which is here. I don't know where you left it go. That's my fear. That's my fear right there. It does have a webhook for. So why is it not sending them? It hasn't sent them. Pushes, pull requests. It's doing individual events. What's that? Pull request and push. That looks the same. So I off the top of my head, I can't see immediately why that Cake homebrew project on Appvr isn't triggering the build. It should be, from what I can see, but it's not. So I have no good explanation for that. I mean, short of recreating the project, Rodney, I can definitely do that if you would like me to, and that would allow us to. I don't think so, Maurice. I think the problem more is that it's not even. There already was an Appvr build file, so to all intents and purposes, it should have been building there, but it's not showing up here either, which leads me to think that the integration between the two isn't set up correctly. So my best guess would be something's missing there. And I could definitely set up a new cake.homebrew project, but it would mean stepping through the environment variable setup and all that sort of stuff. And I think I would do exactly what you said there, because that's why I'm hesitant even to open the settings on the stream, because I don't know off the top of my head which ones are, which pages are going to show what. So I'm going to say don't do that on stream. So I completely agree with you. So instead, I'm going to go off to .NET Core EF, and I'm going to get this one done before shutting down and doing the next one. So before shutting down and going inside, basically. So I'm going to do cake update a bootstrapper, and I haven't checked out a branch, have I? What was the number? It was 42. What was it? Git switch -C. Is that what it was? -C feature GH 42 from develop. Oh, look at that. New command for the win. Then let's do cake install bootstrapper. And then this needs to be closed. This needs to be setup.cake. And this needs to be setup.cake. Those were outdated. That was a new file because it wasn't there before. So gh-42 update to latest cake bootstrappers. Bootstrappers. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a wee search here for setup.cake. We're going to change that to be recipe.cake. We're going to change that to be recipe.cake. I'm going to change that to be recipe.cake. And then in the solution file, we're going to change that to be recipe and that to be recipe. And then down here, we're going to rename this guy to be recipe.cake. And then I'm going to go over here and borrow the text of my previous commit. I'm going to put that in there. And then, look, it's even the same build number. The issue number. That's a bit spooky. It was 42. It was 42. The answer to everything. I see what Maurice is talking about now. The answer to everything. So that's, let me just finish that commit while I've got it there. That's what I had open on the other screen, Kim. So the webhook is there, and the last one succeeded, but the last one was on the 5th of August. So for some reason, after the 5th of August, there haven't been any more recent deliveries from GitHub to AppFair. So that's why the build isn't triggering. What I don't understand is why not. I think let me just check that while we're here. I'm doing, pull that off screen just in case. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. I caught that one before it did anything. So we search here, Homebrew, settings. And that's one of the things I checked as well, Kim. It was exactly that. So both of them are. Yeah, the ID seems to be wrong. The ID that the URL is sending it to, the payload URL doesn't seem to be using the ID that I would expect it to be using. Let me just do a quick sanity check of cake.gem. Let's do a duplicate here. 741 BST. That's 741. Yep, that is exactly the right one. Oh. Right. How do I switch the stream off and rewind a little bit and then go and apologize to Maurice privately so that he can tell me how wrong I am? And I won't. Let's have a look. So this here, I did have an epiphany. So Cake.Homebrew is using a dev branch, not a develop branch. And I pulled in the latest standard AppFair configuration file, which uses develop and master. And when Maurice said earlier in this chat that it's because I updated the AppFair configuration file, I completely dismissed him. And I apologize, because you are absolutely correct. Because I had set it up so that it would only build from branches dev, master, release, or hotfix, or develop, and it wasn't a develop branch. So fix appvar config file. However, I'm not convinced. I think if we do this, so let's bring it up. I've seen this before, Kim. If we do ci.appfair.com, then the last Homebrew one was here. So we go to history. There's nothing there, right? Nothing recent. If I go over here and commit that, and then go over here and do a git push, I think we'll find that it's respecting what's in there. Dun, dun, dun. Unless, there we go. It's building. It's building. So it's taking what's in the PR branch. So I don't know if something's changed there, but I saw this. It is still odd that GitHub didn't submit the webhook, though. That is a very good point. But if I refresh this page... Oh, hold on. Oh no, that... Hold on. Webhooks. Oh, hold on. Was I looking at the wrong one? How do us? I don't know if that translates. Adibus. No, I was reading the wrong one. There are 2 webhooks. That there wasn't though. There are 2 AppVeyor webhooks set up. They're both for pull request and push. One of them, the last delivery was the 5th of August, with ticks across the board. But now there is a second webhook that has failed reports, failed deliveries from today, with one that just worked. So I don't know what to say there. I don't know what to say. But the build is running. The build is indeed running. And so now if we go back to the pull request, has it now got a check on it that is, let's go to this pull request, and now it's including it in the checks as well. Oh, look at that. That's a very odd glitch in the matrix. Okay, don't know what to say. But internet points to Maurice for his help there. Let's go over here. Let's go up here. Let's go in here. Kevin R. Oh, it's not you. Kevin R. There you are. Plus. There we go. Some karma. Anyway, where was I? I was in the SQL, not the SQL, .NET Core EF. So we had Fix Homebrew, and we had switched the cake.recipe. So we'd done that, and then we're going to say in here, we're going to say should run git version with a capital V this time. We're going to say that's true. And we're going to say GH answer everything. Always run git version. Did that. We changed the recipe.cake. We should pin to 32.1. It was already on there. Recipe.cake was already at 1.0. Sanity check over here. Update bootstrapper, switch to recipe.cake, pin to that, run that, NuGet package. So let's have a look at his appveyor.yaml file first. So let's add that. So CI/CD appveyor.yaml, overwrite it. Oh, and I forgot about KimsPR. We should fix KimsPR first. Where did that go? There's a URL. This one, copy a clipboard. Let's do this so that I've done it. Fix regex using AppVeyor, the regex for the branch, blah blah blah. Travis, copy over if wanted. Note 2, I was listening now. Beautiful. Oh, I see what you did there. Okay. Yeah, okay. Looks good to me. Click that. And then add my ringworm. PRT. Boom. Bump. Note 2. Love it. Loving your work. Where were we? We were in here. So, in theory, hold on. Let's undo that. So let's undo that. And then let's run that CI/CD again. No, it's not going to work there, is it? CI/CD. Run the appveyor.yaml file. Download it again. I actually had that exact thought before you typed that, Maurice. But we are totally on the same page. So now if we go in here, it's maybe not flushed it through its CDN yet, so it's not quite getting it there. We're not quite getting the new one, but we will at some point. So which one did Kim change as well? That should be a backslash. Did I make those backslashes? I did. Oh, did it? Okay. So I added the backslashes, but it's not got that file. GitHub must be caching it, which is fine. GH42. What was doing? Add standard app there. Config file. Boom. What else do we need? Doesn't have to get attributes or an editor. So CI/CD, editor config, GH42, add editor config file, and then CI/CD, get attributes, GH42, 32, 42, 43, add .git attributes file. And then doesn't have any GitHub stuff, so CI/CD, GitHub files, cake.net core EF, I believe. So in here, we're going to rename this to be code of conduct. Did someone say coffee? Code of conduct. This is going to be GH42. Add GitHub template files. Boom. That's that. GitHub, editor config, git attributes, yada yada yada. Lovely. Can't type anymore. That's that, and then this must be using a CSproj file because it doesn't have a new spec file. So that must mean package reference. So it is there. License URL is there. Icon URL is using the right one. So let's remove that. Let's go over to cake.warp, which has got the license expression here. Copy that. Let's stick that in there. License expression, sanity check is that this license file is an MIT, which is good. And then we're going to want the repository type and the repository URL. So let's go here, run that, and then this is not going to be .warp, it's going to be .NET Core EF. Close that out. Boom, boom, boom. Icon URL. Boom, boom, boom. Looks good. So this is going to be GH42. Update. Update. NuGet metadata. I hate when debug type is specified as full. Fine for debug builds, but too bloated for release builds. I always forget about this one, Kim. So it was found that this was required sometimes for the unit test project to include everything that was required for doing full test coverage, or is it that it needed something else? Was there another one that it could use? I always remember which one's which. That's homebrew. That's not what we want. CD up into cake.net core EF. Let's run the build, see if it works. If it does, we'll be able to submit a pull request. And we might attempt to make another change to that debug type if Kim reminds me about the other parameter and whether we can use it. ASCII art for the win. Has that been released? Oh, that's a few days ago. Building, build a building, do the unit test. Anything works as long as it isn't none or portable. I cannot remember what the last option was. Yeah, I can't remember what it is either. Yeah, because it was... There was definitely... Make it cap 30. No. I think what Kim was referring to there is that any other valid property works other than portable or none. Let's see what Stack Overflow is saying. What is a PDB? New format, portable. Support scenarios. You guys crack me up. Oh, come on. At least list what they are. Come on. Full. Really? Question, what is the difference between debug type full and PDB? Have a look at portable PDB. Portable PDB format. No, because it doesn't tell me what the things are. PDB, do we think that would work? PDB only. That sounds, now that you say that, PDB only. Let's see if that runs. No, I think you're right. Now that there was definitely, was there an underscore? Debug type PDB only, maybe not. See, I thought it was maybe an underscore. JSON. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Right, it's at the step. .NET Core test. Running. Seemed to work. Didn't fail. Ship it. Build artifacts. Test coverage. Index. Sure. Edge. Yeah. Or use. See, what is this you're showing me now? This will come in the next version of cake.recipe, right? This will be the new default. Codecov.cake. Yeah. That's in the next version of cake.recipe. We're going to do it. One of the many breaking changes that's going in. Okay, so that was 42. And over here we're going to do GH42 change debug type. Full results in quite a large file, which is not necessary for release build. Bump. It also dynamically loads the .NET Core module. Finally managed to get that working. Also dynamically loads the .NET Core module. module. Hold on. I have to go and look at this. Look at you. Look at you. So, in theory, that would be the equivalent of the, I think that's what you're saying there, the install add-in if required, or install tool if required. Only install and run the module if required. Or in this case, yeah. I think I like it. I think I like it. Good to know. Okay, so that's okay. So you see, should really have got 1.0 of cake recipe out the door quicker, shouldn't we? So we could have all this cool new stuff in it. And that's what I was looking at. That all that stuff, it's doing all of that checks and things that, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but requires everything that uses the modules to run in a new script. That's okay though, because of the way that the segregation happens. So, yeah, I think that's okay. I can be on board with that. Git status, because I'm running out of time. It's almost coming up. Git push. That's going to complain because I don't have a tracking branch. I'm going to paste that. And then that's going to come up here as a new PR. Compare and pull request. Oh, hold on. General repository. It's getting late. Repository project update. Resolves number 42. Martin hasn't been as involved recently. I've not seen him. I'll put out a request for him to review it anyway and see if he picks it up. And then, so that's that one done. So that's another one off my list. That leaves two that still need a PR or work done on them. So I've got two left to do. So that might be Friday lunchtime. We could maybe get two done on Friday lunchtime. Maurice has sent over add-in discoverer link. So what's happened there? What was this? Add debug type column. So I don't know, Maurice, if that's actually needed. I mean, it was found that on some projects, because it was running under .NET Core, that the debug type had to be set in order for the test coverage to work correctly. Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's something we need cake.add-in discoverer to do. That one's very much more project specific, whereas some of the things that currently add-in discoverer is picking up on is things that work across the board. Whereas that one, I don't think so. But Kim's saying he's already making use of those in the cake.warp add-in. Beautiful. So you've But cake.warp is using your version of cake.recipe, or it's using the 1.0? So it is using 1.0, but then it's loading those ones in addition. Okay, cool. So you're extending it. Look at that. I'm just going to read some of this now. Tool settings, to do, add a publish, download warp. Look at that. I do like seeing cake.recipe being used in the wild, because people do things with it that I never expected, which is great. Yeah, it's good to see. Which is really good. Happy with that. Okay, so from my list, if we go back to here, so we've done cake.net core EF. Fastlane was already done. Flyway is one of the ones I still have to do. Homebrew, we've sent a PR into. Kudu Client and Microsoft Teams have already been updated or merged. They just haven't been pushed as new NuGet packages. SQL package we just did tonight. This one I still have to do. Travis CI was already done. Unity was already done. I've got PRs into both of those. And this one I need to talk to Florian about. So I'll speak to him about that when we're at WinOps to see how he wants to proceed with that. Because basically, maybe just have a quick look at it. It's doing a bunch of hokey stuff. And I mean hokey in the best possible way. It's doing stuff that I've never had to do because I've never really used VS Test. But then this was exercising VS Metrics, which made sense for it to use VS Test. There's all of these, or there's not. Sorry, I've done it again. I should go to the test project. In the test project, in here, it's doing all of this conditional including of the Visual Studio quality tools version, depending on what version of Visual Studio is being used. So there's all this sort of additional logic in here to load the correct unit testing framework. And short of it, I don't know if any of this will work in .NET Core land. I haven't tried it. But I also didn't really want to go into that rabbit hole. So I don't know what to do for the best. I mean, I would like this VS Metrics to be updated, but Florian is of the opinion that the tool itself isn't going to be updated anymore. And it may well, Kim. I took one look at it and I thought, I don't want to have to play with it because it's still using the old CS Proj format. That was the main thing. It's using the old CS Proj format. So I was like, because normally what I would just do is I just start deleting everything and replacing everything with package references and leaving everything else blank essentially. But then I started looking at these chooses with the whens, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I think it was like a Saturday morning or something. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to look at it. So that one I'll probably leave until at least WinOps, so I can have a chance to speak to Florian about it and see how he wants to proceed. But so 2 PRs left, or 2 ones left, which are systemctl and Flyway. So I'll most likely do those on Friday lunchtime, which will get this list completed. And if Rodney has pushed out some of those, they will have fallen off my list because they'll be updated, which is good. And then it's on to the other list, which is the ones that are not on the recommended version of Cake. So that's my other list, which currently has, where's my list? Count 21 add-ins that still need to go through that process. We need to dig into .NET Core SDK project files to find out. And that's where I got to as well. It's like, another day is where I got to. So if you feel like a challenge, Kim, feel free. I would have no objections to you doing it, and Florian, I think, would be happy to have some assistance there as well. So if you feel like a challenge, feel free. If not, I'll get to it. And then, so Friday stream, like I say, will be those remaining 2. And then after that, it's back to this list of 21. And then I've just thought of something. After this list of 21, there's at least a couple of add-ins that I want to go back to. This will interest you as well, Kim. There's at least a couple of add-ins I want to go back to and use what Jamie found out, which was how to use IL Repack to add the dependencies into the DLL rather than shipping them as a NuGet dependency. So cake.json and cake.appware are the 2 main ones that spring to mind there. Getting IL Repack in the mix so that we can bundle all of those dependencies into the DLL rather than having the NuGet pull them in for us. So Jamie found out how to do that on at least one of his add-ins, and I think Pascal has done it on one of his. It's an entry. It's just an addition to the CSPodge file at the minute, but ideally, I think come time that would be added to cake.recipe as well. So it's just another task that if you specify a list of DLLs to repack into the generated output, it just does it for you. But a manual addition to the CSPodge file is fine for now. So that's something else I want to look at. But for now, that's me, I think. Any questions from anyone before I go? The paper is not shreddable. Maybe not, but everything can be destroyed. Okay. I think that's it from me tonight. Thank you all for coming along. I do appreciate it. I hope that this is useful to some people, and if not, it's at least got some useful content. And we'll just close on one more dad joke. What do you call a fake noodle? Tell me. An impasta. Cracks me up. Okay, one more. What do you call the Atlantic? What do you get when you cross the Atlantic with the Titanic? I don't know. That's so not funny. I'm sorry. People died. That's not funny. I laughed a little bit though. Okay, one more. What did one wall say to the other? I've started this one. This one cracked me up actually. What did one wall say to the other? Let's meet up in the corner. Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm going to go. Appreciate you coming along as always, and I'll see you on Friday lunchtime. Talk to you later.